Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. And this Sunday, we have the Super Bowl Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles.
How do we feel about it?
You know, honestly, I think these were two of the more popular teams going into this season.
Oh, for sure. Well, actually, if we want to talk about bad takes, I feel like I remember at the beginning of the season we were like, talking about, oh, okay, well, someone has to come out of the NFC East. The
Oh, man.
I guess it's gonna be the Eagles, but they'll probably get killed in the first round, just barely make it into the playoffs. Yeah, that aged well.
But I mean, we also said that the NFC East would be a bad division. They ended up being one of the best divisions of football this season.
It's true. At one point, they had all four teams technically in playoff seeding, and then the Commanders blew it. But all the other three teams who made the playoffs won a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And
And the
support
Packers missed
there.
out, so that was good.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that. Oh man, but yeah, this was a little bit different because I know we were kind of hoping for, and we had predicted a Bengals and 49ers Super Bowl, but some of the stuff we're going to talk about from the conference championship game involves stupid mistakes, injuries, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's interesting, but I think we need to talk about it a little bit just because it leads into the whole. Okay, so who's going to be the top dog going into the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one of the first questions that we got to talk about, which is one of our wows, is talking about the Eagles and really are they legitimate? Now, granted, the reason we bring this up is because this has been the conversation pretty much their entire season, where so many teams have said they're not legitimate, they're just getting lucky, they're frauds, that sort of thing. I think we need to understand the Eagles are not the Vikings. Let me put it that way. We want to talk about frauds this season. It was the Vikings. Are the Eagles legit, or is their record just kind of a lucky thing? Did they have an easy run in the playoffs because they played the Giants, who they made light work of, and then the 49ers just had a really, banged up QB
I was like,
situation?
Brock Purdy going down was the end of the 49ers run.
Oh, easily.
I
You
mean,
know, I
uh, I was gonna say, I'll say this. I think the Eagles are good, but I think they've had probably the easiest playoff run out of any team in recent memory.
I would agree with that. It has been very simple for them. Um, But part of that you got to attribute to their own abilities. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like on the first hand they had to play one less game than a lot of other teams, simply because they were the best team in their conference. Um, and secondly, you have a Giants team that they pretty much owned during the regular season, and the same situation happened there. They just knew how to handle them. 49ers, yeah, a little bit of skill there, but I think also a little bit of luck too.
Yeah, like I said, I think Brock Purdy going down was kind of just the writing on the wall, and the Eagles were just able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean you cannot blame the Eagles defense for looking at that situation, especially when Purdy came back in with his injury and say, "Hey, that guy's elbow's messed up. He can't throw very far. Okay, the Niners are going to rely on the run game. Let's stuff the front line and make it impossible for their running backs to get through."
Yep,
What I would do.
that's what I would do.
Yeah,
Don't really have anybody throw, and then CMC came in and tried to throw, but that was
didn't end
horrible.
well. Yep. So that's it. That establishes the Eagle situation. Now we go over to the AFC Championship game, where there's been a lot of talk about how the refs essentially helped the Chiefs to secure
Oh
this
man.
Super Bowl berth. Between the third down play blown dead, the late hit on Patrick Mahomes. What are our thoughts on that?
Here's the thing. Yeah, there were missed calls on the that on the Chiefs, but there were also missed calls on the Bengals, and a lot of people I feel like were talking about that late hit on Mahomes, but that was a good call by the refs because you cannot do that.
No, it 100%. And truth be told, I can't remember who it is again. It's like Osai or something like that. I may be
It
butchering
was the
his
rookie
last name.
too.
Yeah, he knew he messed up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He knew that that was going to cost him, and that's exactly what it did. It cost him. allowed him to get the game-winning field goal. Um, so I mean, yeah, I would agree 100% that that's a
And
thing.
I
That's
and
like, yeah, there were missed calls there on both sides, 100%. But that call needed to be made.
mhm.
It was a late hit.
Now I know a lot of people were also very angry about the weird random replay the down.
Mhm.
That I still don't understand that one. I've tried to see people talk about, it, but I don't fully understand what happened during that. So,
Yeah, and that's the one where I can kind of see how some people are saying, hey, the Chiefs were helped by the refs on that one.
which
Blah
also
blah
is
blah.
feeding the NFL a scripted agenda even more.
Yes, that's actually been pretty entertaining on social media right
Well,
now.
cause who went on that stupid podcast and said it?
Oh, yeah, it was like some sort of analyst or something like that,
It
wasn't
was a
it? That's
former
that
player
basically
like
said.
turned analyst or something. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, the NFL is scripted and blah 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 blah. And people are like, oh, our proof that the NFL is rigged and scripted.
Right.
And then all the content creators and all the other players are jumping on that. It's like, yeah, like RG3 had the best call. It's like, yeah, me getting my leg completely blown out and being forced into retirement, that was completely scripted.
Right. Or, the
Ugh.
talk about, just there's a some of the players that, it's just like, oh yeah, just randomly, yep, they're going to just late. And I'm not just saying this about Tom Brady or anything like that, but drafted super late and all of a sudden they just end up having an amazing career. Yeah, I really don't want to even say too that like say take for example a whole Nick Foles and the Eagles winning their first Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Yeah, that was scripted. I don't know. There's
The
a couple different ways
Seahawks
to look
throwing the
at it.
ball on the 1 yard line was scripted.
Okay, with the Patriots, that's where some of my conspiracy theories come alive. I'm not gonna
Oh, I
lie.
agree. I agree.
Between the whole passing the ball and not running it with Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line, or the fact that the Falcons were absolutely whomping the
Oh
Patriots, and then
man.
all of a sudden,
I will say
yeah.
like all the comedians that are like make a living making NFL like jokes and content, they went to town with the
Mhm.
whole NFL scripted stuff.
Oh, I mean, more power to him. You know what I mean?
Tom Grossi has some good ones.
Yes.
Just
And there's a lot of
ragging
them that
on
I
the
can totally forget.
Cowboys.
Oh yeah, the whole thing about, can we just win one? Just 1 year, 20 years later.
Like 20, 30 years later. Oh, what happened? I left the thing on autopilot. What happened? We haven't won a game in so long.
The Texans have more Super Bowl wins than the Cowboys do now.
Oh
That was
man.
funny. That was funny. I'll be interested to see just how that stacks up, of course. But how about here's another one too that we got to talk about too. It was that you know questionable catch by Devonte Smith. Um, they're talking about did he really catch that one-handed pass from Jalen Hurts? Okay, let me go on the record from what I saw. No, he did not catch that. But it was a boneheaded move of the 49ers to not challenge that.
And I mean, at the same time, did it if it was ruled an incomplete catch, would it really have made a difference in that game?
Oh, I don't think it would have. I think
Yeah.
the Eagles were going to. The only thing that may have changed if for some reason, again, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but the whole, of course, 49ers fans are talking about, well, if we had challenged that and it had been overturned, then okay, wonderful. We get the ball back and Brock Purdy with great position and Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt.
Possibly.
Possibly, but we don't know that. You know what I mean?
That's a different timeline that we do not know.
Yep. Speaking of which, what do the Niners do about their QB situation now? So
Uh,
we talked about this before. Purdy has a UCL tear, but and technically he needs Tommy John surgery, but there's talk about him sitting out and seeking a second opinion, not getting the surgery because the guy wants to keep his job.
I
At this point, we got Trey Lance. Does he become the starter? Does Jimmy G deal with the 49ers? What do you think?
so from the reports that I've seen is that Purdy got the second opinion and they basically said that he is out for all of next season.
Okay.
And I think it was also in the 49ers press conference, the GM said that Jimmy G will not be coming back. He does not
I
see a.
remember seeing that.
Yeah, he said like
Yeah.
something along the lines of, I do not see a future with Jimmy G still on the team.
Yeah.
So that most likely leaves Lance to become the starter for at least next season, unless they sell big and try to trade up and grab a good quarterback.
I don't think that will happen, though. I think
No.
they were maybe hedging their bets to see if maybe they could get Tom Brady before he retired again. Which again, I don't know, because I don't believe it anymore. I won't believe it until the season starts and he ain't there.
Also, Rodgers has said that he is not going to go to San Francisco, so they can't get
I saw
Rodgers
that too.
either.
Yep, that's true. Well, I think they are going to hedge their bets on Trey Lance at this point.
I mean, unless they want to take a risk and go after Derek Carr.
I suppose.
I mean, that might be the best situation because Lance is injured and hasn't proven anything. Purdy is
Oh, true.
down. You need an experienced quarterback. Carr could probably handle a year or two at the bare minimum.
He'd be better than he'd be a better option than say Nick Foles, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, one of those options. You know what I
And he
mean?
just
So
went
I
to
get
his
that.
and he just went to the Pro Bowl.
Shut up.
He did.
He did. You're right.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence got to the Pro Bowl. That was good.
So did Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, the fact that Tyler Huntley got in before Trevor Lawrence is stupid.
Yep. Pro Bowl's
Anyways,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna digress on that because that whole thing was just dumb.
Let's touch on our last little bit before we go into the Super Bowl, and that's the situation with the Bengals offense. We do need to talk about this because there actually has been a quiet stat regarding it's a quiet little story about how the Bengals offense actually sputters within the fourth quarter of every game. They fall apart, and that's why they're not able. At least in this case, that's why they're not going back to the Super Bowl. How do the Bengals fix this issue? And additionally, what's the fallout now with Joe Mixon's arrest warrant and the future with the team?
Uh, it is he actually going to be arrested? Is it gonna be like an arrested in like short term get out, or is it gonna be a his career's done with that arrest warrant?
I Nah, because I think in fact, I didn't see this until just now. The city of Cincinnati dismissed the charges,
Oh,
but it could be refiled. Is basically what they're saying.
okay, because I heard there was
Um,
like something about him pulling a gun out on someone and all this other stuff.
yeah, which is why it could be reopened because he has a history of being in trouble with the law before. But um, here's my understanding: the Cincinnati Police Department were able to get in contact with the victim. She understands the need to dismiss this case and the potential that we could refile this at a later date. He does still want to go forward with this charge if we do decide to refile it, but they're holding off on it right now. Jeez.
Interesting.
Yep, sounds like what usually happens with an NFL player.
I mean, unless you're who was it?
Like
Henry?
Henry
No,
Ruggs. Oh,
was no, it wasn't Henry Ruggs. Ruggs is still
Henry
playing.
Ruggs. Ruggs is not still playing.
Oh, what did I think Ruggs was playing? Oh, I'm thinking Hunter Renfro. That's what I'm thinking.
Uh, yeah. Hunter
Both
Renfro's
HR,
still
both in
playing,
HR.
and both on the Raiders.
Well, one is on the Raiders.
But one was on the Raiders.
One has such a bright future in the NFL, and then one stupid incident destroyed his whole career.
Yeah,
Sad.
biggest man.
Anyways, so with the Bengals offense, honestly, I feel like they have one of the best offenses, but I don't know. I feel like they paid a lot of money for their offensive line. Their offensive line didn't do that much for them.
Yep, I agree. It's like the same monster from last year reared its ugly head.
Yeah, and they also just need to figure out how to close a game because as we've seen multiple games this year, that fourth quarter, teams can come down from basically nothing to win the game because it was like the Colts rallied back for like a 40-point win.
Yep. I
Like,
mean, the Vikings beat you.
oh man, that was funny to watch.
I didn't even watch it. basically next thing you know, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. It was more just like, what just happened?
Yep.
Oh no, it was the Vikings that won. The Colts were,
That's what I was trying to.
yeah.
That's what I was telling you. Yeah.
I mean, the Jaguars did the same thing to the Chargers in the playoffs, and there was a couple.
Yeah. It was weird.
It's very weird. This season has been weird.
Yeah, to an extent, this has been a very very strange season.
And yet somehow the Super Bowl doesn't feel that weird.
No, but that's because it's the number one seeds.
Yeah, but I mean also, this is the second time the Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl within 10 years, and if they win again, they'll win 2 Super Bowls in 10 years.
It's the same way with the Chiefs actually.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat as well saying like the Chiefs and the Eagles, their offenses have basic between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, it's been like identical, like yards, plays, everything.
Huh.
It's like the same amount of yards, the same amount of touchdowns, the same amount of interceptions, the same amount of completions.
That's right. I think I. Yeah.
So we both know these offenses are going to do well. The question is, I think, is going to come down to the defense, not what the defense does.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
But
But with that being said, we jump into Super Bowl 57 between those two teams. And here's our pick. Pick is in for the fans. Doesn't mean we're going to be essentially right about it, but we feel pretty confident this year at least, especially if the script is real. Shane has actually gone ahead and has put what the script has been, what the leaked script has said
wait,
is
did
the
I?
score.
No, I
And
didn't
we
put the
believe-
lead script.
Oh, I thought you did. Did you not?
No, 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 no. I can say the
Oh.
lead script.
Okay, say the leaked script.
So the lead script is the Eagles win 37-34.
Oh,
And
that's
they
right.
win in the
34
comeback,
on
I will say.
Ah,
So it was first half they were down 24-13 and then they rally back.
I mean,
But that is
I'm
the
not
lead
gonna say
script. I
anything
think
more about that.
I think the like official Madden prediction also had the Eagles winning. I think it was like 31-17 or something.
And on yours, you have the Eagles winning 34-28, and mine is just slightly off. Mine is the Eagles winning 32-28. We picked the Eagles to win, and the reason being is they seem like the more complete team, and that's what's going to carry them through. I say it this way. Um, what honestly is just as a, I just want to throw this out here, Shane. What honestly is just as a compelling thing to see how this is going to shake out, like just like the Super Bowl, is who is MVP, because I think it's going to come down to Mahomes or Hurts.
Mhm.
I'm really curious to see who they're going to say wins MVP.
I mean, the only thing I know is that Mama Kelsey's gonna win no matter what.
Oh, jeez, the Kelsey Bowl.
I mean, let's also give respect to the Eagles and the Chiefs. There's gonna be a lot of firsts with this Super Bowl, I will say. It's like the first
Sure.
Super Bowl with like 2 quarterbacks under the age of like 27 or 28.
Right.
There's a lot of record-breaking stuff with this Super Bowl. First
definitely,
brothers
and
to
it'll
ever
be an
play
interesting
against each other. Yes, we had the Harbaughs coached against each other, but they didn't play.
Yes. Forgot about that, John and Jim.
Hmm That was the
The Super
infamous
Bowl.
power outage Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl 47. That's
For-
right.
I remember 49ers fans were angry.
The
Well, they were,
Ravens were killing them anyway.
well, they were angry. They're like, that power outage is the reason that like the 49ers lost. I'm like, no, no. The 49ers were actually starting to come back after the power outage. You guys,
Yeah,
that power
they-
outage took away the Ravens' momentum.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh man, I remember watching that and going into debates with people on it that were like big 49ers fans. I'm like, it's okay, you guys lost. It's okay.
Sounds like 49ers fans half the time, though. Not
Dang.
entirely surprising.
Dang.
You look at some of these teams, you know what I mean, that that have lost within the past few years. you just kind of laugh to yourself. Like, I think back to, um, I the earliest one I can think of right now that I look back on it and I go, yeah, I remember how the losing team reacted would have been Super Bowl 46. It was the Patriots and Giants round two, and I
Oh
remember
boy.
Patriots fans were really upset after that one because it was just deja vu practically. I remember 49ers fans getting upset after they lost to the Ravens. I don't remember Broncos fans talking much after the Seahawks killed them. They knew they blew that one.
Yeah, but I don't even think they're necessarily too mad about that one.
Yeah. Seahawks, they were Seahawks fans were angry about the whole why didn't we
Your
run the
life.
ball?
Oh man.
Yeah. Why didn't we
Panthers
run the
fans were
ball?
angry with Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos.
Yeah, but like Panthers played like crap.
Oh, I know, but they were like
Next.
almost undefeated that whole season, and then
Yep.
just at the very end couldn't do a thing.
Yep.
And then Peyton Manning
It was
walked off
rough.
into the sunset.
Exactly. Uh, Falcons fans, they hide their faces in shame after what happened. I
Falcons
think a
fans
majority
stopped
of
existing
Patriots.
after that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think a majority of Patriots fans after they lost to the Eagles were kind of like, yeah, fair. You know what I mean? Because it's the thing of it was like, Tom Brady is, he does well in clutch situations, and the Patriots had scored 33 points and still lost. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they were just like, okay, yep, that was fair. It wasn't like the Giants situation where it was like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? They're like, oh no, we got beat on that one.
Yeah.
And then we had the worst Super Bowl ever, where I think just Rams and Patriots fans, really anyone in the NFL was like, that was stupid.
That
Let's
no,
let's not
no,
talk about
nobody
that.
enjoyed that game. That was just a
Yeah,
throwaway Super Bowl.
yeah. 49ers fans were mad after they lost to the Chiefs. I remember that one.
Oh
It was
man.
yeah.
I was at my wife's like family. It was like all her cousins and everything. They're all from San Francisco area,
Mhm.
so they were die-hard like 49ers. I'm like, I'm rooting for the Chiefs. There was one other guy there who was married to one of my wife's cousins who was also rooting for the Chiefs. So me and him were literally just sitting back while they're all going crazy for the 49ers. I'm like, they're like, "Oh, the Chiefs have lost at halftime." I'm like, "Oh, don't count out the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are a
Uh,
second half team. They are a second half team, and they will
uh,
be scary." Then they came out and won.
yeah. I look at some of the other ones. I think Chiefs fans were quiet after Tom Brady and the Bucks won, and I think
Yeah, that was also a boring Super Bowl.
yeah, it was. And then Bengals and Rams.
That was
I don't
pretty good.
know. No,
That one was
no,
okay.
it was a good Super Bowl. That was a good Super Bowl. I just feel like yeah, as the losers, the Bengals were kind of like okay, well whatever, we'll be back next year, and they almost were. Rams fans were kind of like yeah, dynasty. Look how amazing we are, LA forever. And then this season happened, and they were like, what just happened?
I think the Bengals are more mad about their loss in the AFC Championship this year than the loss about Super Bowl last year.
100%. 100%.
See, that's the nice thing about
Anyway,
being a Jaguar fan. I have no expectations because I've never been to a Super Bowl.
I have been to one Super Bowl in my lifetime as a Bears fan, and that did not end well. It started off great
No.
with Devin Hester returning a kickoff for a touchdown,
Hmm.
but then we fell apart. Then we choked, and Peyton Manning did Peyton Manning things, and
Oh,
yep,
Peyton. Hey, at least you guys have Super Bowl titles to your name.
this is true. And a Super Bowl appearance, a couple of Super Bowl appearances, no less.
Yeah, I don't even have an appearance yet, so.
Yeah, you're one of four teams. Rip.
I just want to
Okay.
go.
Going back on track here. Oh, by the way, though, I should mention though before, but actually, I know I just said we're getting back on track on here, but I'm gonna pull us off on another tangent. I did see someone posted on Twitter in 2015 showing what they considered to be. It wasn't the NFL script, but it was what their predictions had been um, for every Super Bowl winner until like 2030 or something like that, and they had gotten every single one
Right.
right,
Yes.
and they
I think
predicted the
that
Eagles to win
is
this year.
I think that is the same person who leaked the script supposedly.
Well, this is just a random Twitter user,
Oh,
so
well.
that's what I
I
thought
don't
at
know.
least.
I saw that exact same thing you're talking about, and I thought the script thing was attached to it, but it might not be.
Maybe not, but all I saw is I think next year he said the Jaguars win the Super
Oh,
Bowl. So
heck yeah, baby. Man, do you know how hype I would be for that?
Yeah, I actually do have some idea. You wouldn't shut up during that AFC Championship game against the Patriots back in 2017
We
season.
were robbed and everyone knows it.
I
That's the
love
only part of the time where I'm like, yeah, no, the Patriots conspiracy is real.
it. Yeah, I can agree with that
I'm
one
like,
to
if we
some
went up
extent.
against any other AFC team, I think we would have won that. But because it was the Patriots, it was a write-off. Freaking Patriots. I hate the Patriots.
Who was it again? Who was it again? He wasn't down. Who was that?
Miles Jack.
That's the war cry of the Jaguars. Miles Jack wasn't
Well, I
down.
mean, thing is,
Ah!
the the like three-ish times we made it to the AFC Championship game, it's almost always been the Patriots that knocked us out. I really don't like the Patriots for that. They have done things to this team.
Miles Jack wasn't down.
Oh my gosh.
Duval. Right.
Oh man.
Getting back on track here. Now we're getting back on track. Okay, the X factors for the Super Bowl. What does the Chiefs offense need to do?
Honestly,
Who's the X factor?
I'm kind of gonna go with the run game on this one.
Okay, I like that call. I'm saying it's the O line.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I'm saying the run game because as we've seen, Jarek McKinnon is he's a bit of a different monster.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is off IR and coming back for the Super Bowl too. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's kind of been on the
I know, I
decline, and
know.
I mean, Pacheco's been doing okay. We got McKinnon doing good, so eh.
I know. I know. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm going with the O line simply because of the potential of the Eagles' defense and the fact that Patrick Mahomes is probably still not 100% on his ankle.
I mean, I'm still gonna look forward to watching Travis Kelsey do 1 to 2 big plays, but that's probably gonna be it for him.
Yeah, but they may be enough to give the Chiefs, a fighting chance, maybe.
I'm not gonna lie, the greatest thing that I think would happen, which I know won't happen, Travis Kelsey comes in for one play on defense and runs up against his brother.
They still try that. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be the funniest thing in the world.
Just having to try and have him work as a defensive tackle, try and take down.
I
You
just want to
you know
just one
know that
play.
Travis Kelsey's probably talked. You know that Travis Kelsey's probably talked to Steve Spagnuolo and has said, "Hey, can we try something here so I can actually try and see if I can steamroll my brother?"
It's gonna be if Travis Kelsey wins, he's like, "Little brother's not so little now," and Big Brother's gonna. Jason wins, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm always gonna be your big brother. Get out of here." Oh man, I love those two. Even watching, I watched like bits and pieces of their podcast. I'm like, man, I love these two. They're just so fun.
Oh yeah. How about the Chiefs' defense?
Oh, stop Jalen Hurts. Keep him in the pocket.
I don't even think it's Jalen Hurts. I actually think if you force Jalen Hurts to throw more, eventually he's going to make a mistake. So I'd say if you can take the run game, you can take Miles Sanders out of the game. So it's more for that Chiefs defense front. If they can remove the run game from the equation, I'd say they have a really good chance of staying in this game, potentially even winning it.
Okay, so remove the run completely, both on running back and keeping Jalen Hurts not running the
Yep,
ball.
yep, I agree. How about the Eagles offense?
Oh, I kind of just want to say fly Eagles fly and let that ball fly a few times.
That would be fitting considering I don't know if you know this, but like Devonte Smith has a chance to make history technically in this game as one of the few players in history who has let's see if I get this all right. Won a national college national championship, won the Heisman, and won a Super Bowl.
Mm.
Interesting.
Okay, what about the Eagles defense then?
Break Mahomes.
Dang.
Oh no! When I say that, I mean like break his spirit. Do what the Buccaneers did to him a couple years ago, last time he was in the Super Bowl. You
I,
know what I mean?
I
Make him
mean,
run. Make him
I was gonna say, I'm
uncomfortable.
like, they didn't even break Mahomes' spirit during that Super Bowl. It was just they broke the Chiefs' offense spirit. Mahomes was the
Oh
only one
yeah,
still with the fighting spirit in that game.
yeah. I guess that's a good way to put it. But you know what I'm saying here is just a thing of it's just like
Break
if
the
you make
morale.
Mahomes, yeah, if you make Mahomes go on the run and you don't give him time to like even make a couple of plays, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, now just for the last few questions that we have, who scores first? Doing random picks.
I think the Chiefs are actually gonna score first.
I'm gonna take the Eagles.
Okay.
Wins the coin toss.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna say Chiefs.
I am gonna say Eagles, but they defer.
Ooh, I like that call.
Who leads at halftime?
I can see. I know the script says that the Chiefs will leave at halftime, but I think the Eagles will.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. All right, how many outfit changes is Rihanna gonna have?
I'm gonna say four. I'm gonna keep it a low four.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna say five.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Add
you're
one
probably
more
gonna
to it.
say five.
Yep. Who will be named Super Bowl MVP? I'm going with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you gotta go with the quarterback in this one.
Yep, you do. Okay. That concludes our picks for the Super Bowl, which means now it almost makes it seem like it's going to be a shorter episode, but we're jumping into our for the fun here. We're going to be talking about the highs and the lows for each team this season. So we're going to be sharing opinions on which team's best and worst moments were, talking about it, kind of reminiscing from kind of this weird season. Interesting. I'm excited to see how we go with this. But as always, we start with the AFC East. New England Patriots up here first. I'm going to say, honestly, Shane, the high for me was the Bailey Zappi experiment. I thought that, that was actually really interesting to see the Patriots try and do that. And it was, I don't know, I was along for the ride. I enjoyed it. I
Oh, it
thought it
was a
was kind
fun
of a,
ride while it
good
lasted.
part of the season. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying it was like the best part of their season, but I thought it was a high.
I thought it was one of the more fun parts of the Patriots. I mean, it didn't work out, which is good to know, but in all honesty, I don't think the Matt Jones experiment's gonna work out either.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of which, the low for the Patriots is obviously just missing out on the final game of the season at a playoff potential spot because of that self-destruction against the Buffalo Bills, giving up two, touchdowns that were, punt returns. It was,
It was bad.
yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it,
Hmm.
but it was bad. Bad for the Patriots. Dolphins. A high for them was when they beat the Bills and they remained one of the few undefeated teams and they looked like a Super Bowl contender.
Oh, they were 100% Super Bowl contender until their low this season to his
But
injury.
a big fat but. The his injury, the concussion concerns, and the fact that he just never stayed healthy. And that's also a potential low for the Dolphins too, because that is a concern for the future here as well.
I mean, I don't even blame Tua. I kind of blame the Dolphins' management of the whole concussion situation.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was poorly done. The fact that that man got concussed 3 times within 6 to 7 weeks. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Anyways,
was it was rough.
that was a rough time.
Yeah. All right. New York Jets. I think the high of their season, um, I say that the high of their season when I feel like the Jets had the most potential to say, hey, look at us. We're doing really, really well. And we've got potential here to, go to the playoffs was when they beat the Green Bay Packers. Sauce Gardner wore the cheese head and everything like that. That seemed like one of the highest points of the season for the New York Jets.
Unless you
But,
count preseason.
oh, yeah. But one thing that I will add on to that though is it basically all came crashing down not long after that because then they had that last minute loss to the New England Patriots. Then began the whole Zach Wilson not taking responsibility, and yeah, we know where the rest goes from
Everything
there.
imploded after that.
Yep, it did. Buffalo Bills are the last one too, and that's another season where it's like, oh, it looked like they were high on the potential there. The high was that blowout versus the Titans. That
Hmm.
was
Oh, I
insane.
loved it.
Oh, I know you did because it's the Titans.
And I love the
But oh
Bills.
no,
I
you
think the
didn't.
Bills are fun.
No, you didn't love it. May I remind you, you didn't love it because you lost fantasy that week because they pulled Josh Allen out
Oh
early.
yeah, I was mad with the fantasy.
The low, obviously, was DeMar Hamlin, along with other defensive players getting injured.
Yeah.
Now, the positive to take out of that is the amount of support that was given after DeMar's injury. But I think what really spelled an essential doom for the Bills towards the end was their defense was supposed to be absolutely dynamic, but the injuries hurt them.
Hmm. They were riddled with injuries on defense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Steelers. Okay, I say this very cautiously. The high is the development of Kenny Pickett. He
He's
shows
yeah.
potential, but I wouldn't count on it 100% just yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
he what? He was a rookie this year, so still give him some time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. They were rookies last year, didn't have great years, and they made leaps and bounds this year and looked like the only two competent from their draft class.
Yeah, and I know some people would still try and argue that with Justin Fields, because I understand we need to see the arm part of it, but we'll see.
What what does he have on offense to help him though?
I know it's just a lot, and I understand. I'm not siding with these pundits. But there are a lot of people who are saying, oh, watch the Bears do revamp their offense and watch Justin Fields still suck, is what they're saying,
You guys have more
basically.
than double the second team with the highest cap space, and you had the first overall pick. Can easily trade back to 2, 3, or 4, get like 5 early round picks, and possibly a player and all sorts of stuff. You guys have a bright future.
I understand that, and I agree with that.
But
And
there are
the
some
big
weird
issue,
people.
there are some people out there who are just saying, doesn't matter what you do, Justin Fields is still going to suck. I don't know, man, because here's the thing: is a lot of people were saying the same thing about Jalen Hurts.
Hmm. People said the same thing about Josh Allen.
Yeah, very good point too. Even people were making comments about that this season with Trevor Lawrence before the Jaguars started to heat up.
Hmm.
We just don't know.
Let players develop a little bit.
Yep, exactly. Let them play with what is actually a capable offense, which now we've seen what Josh Allen can do with a capable offense. We've seen what Trevor Lawrence can do with, truth be told, even not even the greatest offense. I feel like you
The
build that
coaching
offense even more,
changed
and
that.
but I'm saying even going into next season with getting some additional offensive players, I'm really scared to see what the Jaguars do next season. And
Super Bowl
then
or
yeah,
bust, baby.
and then Jalen Hurts, where it is Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Ray. Oh, one last thing I will say: loss for the Steelers. Their low was the early part of the season losses. I feel like had they been able to get those wins there, they actually could have made the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
They heated up towards the end. They kept Tomlin's win streak alive. If they had been able to get those other ones in there at the very beginning, which potentially would have been, let's have the conversation about you should have just tried to put Pickett in there at the beginning and not have Trubisky in there. They could have won those.
Can we also talk about how Mike Tomlin might honestly be one of the best head coaches ever?
Yeah, I know. It's
Like,
wild.
I kind of think he's might be sneakily better than Bill Belichick because I feel like he does a lot more with a lot less.
I agree. He drags those Steelers through the regular season by himself. Standard is the standard.
Oh, I love Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Ravens, high at least with the potential of the defense when they were healthy. I
Hmm.
mean, when they were healthy, it looked like the Ravens were firing on all cylinders. The problem is the low was Lamar Jackson's health and so many blown leads.
And let's also talk about how the contract with Lamar.
They're gonna franchise tag him,
Man,
and that's
the,
how it's gonna go in this
if they
offseason.
franchise
Mark my
tag him
words.
though, he's not gonna want to go there.
I know, but mark my words, that's what they're gonna do, and then they're gonna try and talk about a deal. I don't see Lamar trying to hold out.
Oh, I don't either, but from the last report I've read is that they're currently 100. It was like they're currently like $100 million off from each other or something like that.
What do you mean?
I think like Lamar Jackson like won a like 10-year, $300 million deal, and the Ravens are like maybe like a 10-year, $200 million
Oh,
deal.
got it, got it.
Mhm. The talk is
I
the
think,
money isn't moving enough.
yeah, I don't know what to say about that, honestly. I really do feel like because the Ravens paid Roquan Smith and made him the highest paid middle linebacker in the league, they're gonna franchise Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and then that's gonna lead to Lamar wanting to leave, and then not many players are gonna want to go to the Ravens because Lamar's not there, and then all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
Anyways, Cleveland Browns. Maybe the one high was the victory against the Bengals. That's when they look like, hey, maybe we're turning a corner. But the low is Deshaun Watson's unimpressive return, and the Browns just look like the Browns again. It's despite the fact that they've paid high for all these actually pretty talented players, but
hmm
nothing's working.
yeah, feel bad for Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah, I don't feel bad for Deshaun Watson.
No.
Cincinnati Bengals, the high, another AFC Championship appearance, winning the AFC North. The L, sputtering of the offense in the fourth quarter, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the late hit, missing out on the Super Bowl. We've already talked about this. Chiefs, it's kind of the same thing, too. The high is the high scoring affairs, getting the one seed, going back to the Super Bowl. Their low, though, is there's been a lot of struggle with Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. There's always this talk that he's going to do really, really well, and it just really hasn't been there because of injury or something else.
Yeah, and then Jerick McKinnon's like, I'm great.
Yep, same with Isaiah Pacheco, even to an extent.
hmm
Chargers, highs, Austin Eckler performances. I mean, the dude is basically considered the fantasy MVP this year and may even be considered the number one pick for fantasy football next year. Below,
I got him on my dynasty league for next year, so.
there you go, there you go. Below, that blown lead in the playoffs against the Jaguars.
Oh man. I mean, there. I think I sent this to you where there's taught that Keenan Allen and their tight end Gerald Everett are not going to come back to the team next year, so they're going to lose a wide receiver and their tight end.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll
I,
take Keenan Allen.
yeah, I know. I mean, that
We'll
could
take
be good
anything.
for Bears.
Yeah, we'll take anything at this point, but yeah.
Careful, because
Raiders.
that's how you guys ended up with Chase Claypool and oh, what's his face that was on the Patriots.
Oh, N'Keal Harry. Oh, shut up. You watch your mouth.
Hey, you said you would take anything.
I know, I know. I guess I take it back. Take it
I was like,
back.
I'm trying to save you.
I'm saying we'll take anything now
I
after what I've
mean, hey,
seen.
you could get D Hop.
If he, yeah, I could take that one too. And all right, Raiders. The high, definitely Josh Jacobs turning a corner. We
Heck
need to pay that guy.
yeah.
The
Look.
low is obviously the failed season. Derek
Mm,
Carr's leaving. Josh McDaniels didn't do well. It's yeah.
rough time in Vegas.
Yep. But not as
Oh.
bad as the Broncos this season. Their high was the promising performance after Nathaniel Hackett got fired. So it's looking good now with Sean Payton. But their low, they had the most disappointing season out of any team. They're the most overrated team going into this, and then just
Yeah, and Sean Payton's already said, like, after hearing that Russell Wilson likes to bring his own personal coaches and everything into the facility, Sean Payton said, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
yeah, honestly.
And I'm like, man, I love Sean Payton.
Oh yeah, it'll just clamp down. Texans, going through this one pretty quick. They had impressive matchups against certain teams. I'll give that as their high. Their low, honestly, with all the losses that they had, and they still failed to secure the number one draft pick for them, which they need for a new quarterback. That's the situation with the Texans. On a more positive note, Jaguars, you're high. You have the playoff victory, won the division. Honestly, and even the divisional round was kind of close. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
we're
There
just
was potential
just
there.
happy we made the playoffs.
Exactly. Especially considering the low of the season was when you lost in London to the Broncos, and then it was like,
Oh,
okay, now what?
yeah,
But
that one hurt.
it was a good rebound.
Yeah, the Broncos
Titans,
loss hurt.
yeah. Titans, they're high. They have the close matchup against the Chiefs. They got a few good wins there for a while. But their loss, their low, injuries, and ultimately the failed season.
With the
Oh,
Week 18 loss to the Jaguars, they were very angry about that.
yes, they were.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Colts win over the
Colts,
Chiefs. That
yeah.
was surprising, but that was probably their high. Their low, the failed season for Jonathan Taylor and for Matt Ryan, might I add, and that blown lead to the Vikings.
Sheesh. Yeah, I was like, honestly, I don't know what was worse. That blown lead to the Vikings was sad, but the Colts were bad all season. But Jonathan Taylor just kind of died.
Yep, he did.
He went from being RB1 last season to like not even in the top 10 this season.
Right, he just fell off. Right, now into the NFC. Eagles, obviously, most impressive season in franchise history. That's a high. They're going to the Super Bowl. The losses come to those two losses that they had to the Commanders and the Cowboys. You know, especially the Commanders because it killed the undefeated streak. But doesn't matter. They're going to the Super Bowl. Who cares?
And now we got them
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
The victory at least would be their one win that they got over the Eagles. They also blew out the Vikings. Loss or they're low. Another playoff loss, honestly. To the 49ers again, no less.
Hey, at least it wasn't a championship game loss.
Oh, we haven't had that one in quite some time.
Oh man, it makes me laugh.
Yeah. Commanders, they're high. They did almost make the playoffs for a while there. They were riding high. They had a shot at least a 7 seed. They're low, close losses, and the Carson Wentz experiment failed.
Mm-hmm.
Giants, high. The return of Saquon Barkley,
Which
potentially
who would have
comeback player of
thought?
the year award winner. They're low. Obviously, the failure against the Eagles in the divisional round. Just
Yeah,
fell
but I
apart
mean,
after that.
honestly, they look more promising. I still don't think Daniel Jones is that guy for them, but they do them.
No.
And they have to
Yep. No.
re-sign Saquon.
They do, but he's saying he doesn't really plan on resetting the market. So I don't know.
Well, good on them.
Yep. Packers. High, the late season rally where they almost seemed like they could have made the playoffs. The low, the failure with the receivers, which really did kind of play in towards the end where they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and now a new low is starting to turn into, is Rodgers actually gonna stay?
Yeah, I don't know. There's always talk about that every offseason.
I mean, they got Jordan Love, so maybe it'll be okay.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, Vikings.
Yeah.
The rally over the Colts.
Oh yeah.
Yep. The L, the low, biggest playoff fraud ever.
Oh man. And there's been some big frauds in the playoffs, but that was bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bears,
The
the high,
Bears.
the win over the Patriots at the beginning of the season and securing the number 1 pick. Low, they had close losses to teams like the Dolphins and the Packers. Just couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Although that number 1
Makes me
pick
real-
looks real good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it makes me just wonder if they did that just to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Lovie Smith gave you guys the number 1 pick.
He did. He executed Order 85.
Once a bear, always a bear.
Once a bear, always a bear. Lions, high, the near playoff appearance, and they're doing really well there for a while. Low, the number 32 defense.
I mean, I'll add another high, beating the Packers in Week 18.
Oh yeah, that was great for so
No,
many people.
Oh,
That.
the Lions have never been so heavily rooted for before.
Yeah, I
The
think
whole
even
cover-
Lions fans were like,
Lions fans were like, "This is what it's like to be liked and loved."
Yeah, exactly. Or at least cared about. They know they're all loved because they're pitied, but they were like, wait a second,
It wasn't just pity at that
people,
point. It was full love.
people want us to win.
Oh man,
Um,
I like Lions fans now.
yeah. Seahawks. High playoffs with Geno Smith, at least making the playoffs.
Yeah, no
Below,
one expected
obviously, they're
that.
blown loss. They're blown loss to the Raiders. Where they just let
Yeah,
Jacobs run into the touchdown.
Jacobs was
49ers.
scary.
Oh yeah. 49ers, the high Christian McCaffrey's trade and Brock Purdy doing as well as he
Oh,
did.
Brock
The
Purdy
low,
with a
obviously,
12-week win streak or something like that.
yeah.
Man,
It was like five or six games in the regular season, something like that.
I thought he got up to like 10.
Oh no, that was an undefeated streak until the NFC Championship. So Garoppolo factored into some
Gotcha,
of those.
gotcha. Anyways, and then
The low was obviously the NFC Championship loss and just
yeah,
the missed opportunity there. Yeah.
sad.
Rams high was the Baker Mayfield experience paying off at one point and giving them a 51-14 win on Christmas Day. The low though was the biggest Super Bowl hangover ever.
Yeah, Rams fans appeared and said they were the best team in the world, and then immediately disappeared.
Yep. Bandwagoners just went back hiding in the woodwork.
The sad thing is, the Rams team like didn't even change a whole ton. It was just they weren't
No,
good.
oh they weren't. It just fell apart. Kind of like the Cardinals too, though, because like their
Oh man.
one good defensive win, their one win that is their high was their defensive win over the Saints. But the loss, the low, I mean Kyler Murray's injury and really just everything else was falling apart for them. Because for a while they were, I think the Cardinals were talking about, well, we're hosting the Super Bowl this year, so let's continue the trend that's been going on for 2 years now, where the team whose stadium is actually hosting the Super Bowl gets to play in the Super Bowl, like the Bucks did, like the Rams did, but for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, now the Cardinals had AJ Green retire. D Hop could be going somewhere else. They're losing a lot of their offense.
They're looking for a new coach. Kyler Murray's with a torn ACL. It's not good.
Yeah, because Cliff Kingsbury went to Taiwan,
Thailand.
Thailand. I
But
knew it started with the
yeah,
Thai.
yeah, you were close.
I like how he got fired. He's like, okay, peace out. I'm going on vacation. Don't bother me.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Saints, the high, they shut out the Raiders. The low, they double doinked in London.
Cody Parkey isn't alone.
Falcons, the high, they led in the division early in the season. The low, the failed QB situation. Ritter didn't really work. Mariota didn't work. It's rough.
I've been seeing a whole like thing where it's like analysts going through what each team needs in the offseason, and when it got to the Falcons, they literally just said everything.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are talking about too, though, how if Lamar does decide not to stay with the Ravens, he should go to the Falcons.
I don't see Lamar going to the Falcons. They got nothing there to really
I
boost
don't
him.
see it, but I'm just saying some people are saying the Falcons will offer him the money but apparently their offensive scheme works really well for him.
I honestly, I'd be interested in seeing Lamar in a Raiders uniform.
There's a couple of players that I'd honestly be considered, like I wonder how they would work in
I
a
mean, like,
Raiders uniform.
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is another one
yeah.
too.
I mean, like, you bring back Josh Jacobs, then Lamar would have Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, and Devontae Adams all on one team. Like, that's a good offense.
But so did Derek Carr, and it didn't work. Not even close. It's because you
Yeah,
got
but
Josh McDaniels as your coach.
that's Derek Carr versus Lamar Jackson.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying. I actually, honestly, if Lamar Jackson is the QB, I feel like Josh Jacobs' numbers would go down.
That's
But
true. That's true.
he'd be a good option. He'd be a good option.
I
What's
mean,
going to happen? Is it Lamar Jackson or is it Josh Jacobs?
And Darren Waller is comparable to Mark Andrews. He would get an upgrade at wide receiver because Lamar currently doesn't really have any.
It's true.
And then Jacobs could take pressure off of him with a good run game.
It's true. They need to bulk up that defense too.
Oh yeah.
Max Crosby can't do it by himself. Yeah.
Anyways,
Right.
Carolina
Last two
Panthers.
teams. Panthers, the high, was the victories over divisional opponents, including the Buccaneers. That was kind of probably the biggest thing for them. The low was that DJ Moore
Oh
taunting call that
man,
eventually gave him an L. Oh
they would
boy.
have won that game. Ugh.
And the last one, the Buccaneers. They're high, they swept the Saints. The regular
Woo!
season enemy of the Saints did not happen this year. But the low, they absolutely messed themselves up with the playoff loss, and then Tom Brady retired.
Yep. So now the Buccaneers essentially have nothing going forward.
No, they are going back to rebuild.
Yep. And it might be a long rebuild, so they're probably going to lose Mike Evans, Chris Godwin in the process of the rebuild, and who knows when they'll be relevant.
Mike Evans, come to Chicago.
Man, looking at the NFC South, I'm like, well, going into next season, I think the NFC South might be the worst division because none of them really have a quarterback.
No, I believe it or not, the Panthers are actually my pick for the divisional winner next year, simply because I don't really have a quarterback option, but the Panthers have the best one with Darnold. Um, and they just hired the Broncos defensive coordinator as their new defensive coordinator. That's really all I got to say there. That's why I just feel like the Panthers have the best shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the rest of the division. I'm like, the Saints aren't really going anywhere, and I feel like they're kind of stuck. The Falcons are stuck and need everything. The Buccaneers are
Except for a
losing.
running back.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are losing half of their team.
Yep.
Honestly, if anybody could benefit from moving up into the draft, it would be the Buccaneers.
Possible.
Hey, they trade you Mike Evans and a few pits for that number one overall pick.
Would not say no. Would not say no.
It'd be a pretty good one for you guys, honestly.
It would be.
I mean, you guys would miss out on a potentially good defensive player on that defensive line, but get
We need a
just.
receiver.
But I was like, you get Fields his number one weapon.
Yep.
But with that, I think
Well,
that takes us to the very end of our episode and one of our last episodes for this season.
we've got one more, and that's just to react after the Super Bowl and talk about the future, and then we are into the off season.
Where the next episode will be right around draft time.
During the draft.
Oh yeah, because we do like the first 10 picks.
That's fun. I like doing that. I love the draft episodes.
And
They're
here's
fun.
the thing, you guys get to pick first this time.
Avy.
Unless you guys trade back.
Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles, go talk to the Buccaneers.
Currently, you guys are in the top 10 position for picks, so we'll be talking and speculating a lot with you guys. My team, we're picking number 24, so I got nothing to care about for a while.
A little bit back from what we saw last year, considering the Jaguars picked first last year.
Mm-hmm. 2 years in a row.
Yep. All right then.
But with that, we will see everyone next week.
Enjoy the Super Bowl. Should be good.
Should be great.